sweet and sour cream cheese lemon drops. Look at that. It's like candy. Or not that way. These are seedless organic lemons. I have 5 of them. We're gonna chop them up in little pieces. I'm gonna bring this pot to a boil. First things first, we're gonna want the zest of one of these lemons. We're reserving that for later. We're gonna chop these lemons up. I'm only gonna use 4 lemons because these are quite large. Okay, we're boiling. Now what we're gonna do here is we're going to blanch these lemons for about 3 minutes. Now I'm gonna take these off the heat and drain them in a colander. Lemons are back in here. There's 1 cup of water. There's 2 cups of sugar. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix that together, bring it to a boil. Now that we're at a boil, turn this down to a low. We're gonna let it simmer uncovered for 45 minutes to an hour. While that timer's going, we're gonna keep stirring occasionally. Now that we've been simmering about an hour, we're gonna add that zest of lemon that we did, and we're gonna let it cook for another 10 minutes. We're gonna turn this off and let it cool down to room temperature. And it should thicken up. Look how thick we got. Yes. It's still too hot to taste. And I'm gonna run this through my blender, get these chunks smaller. It's 2 1/3 cup Bisquick. Two-thirds cup of milk, 3 tablespoons of sugar. Let's just go 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. All done. 3 tablespoons of butter. Oh, okay, 1 1/2. 1 1/2. Let's mix this together and see what we get. Now I allowed these to bake in the oven at 425 degrees for about 5 minutes. I wanted to see what they're gonna do. Or not that way. Let's try it with flour instead of water. And cheese, 4 tablespoons sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Let's mix this together. Yummy. Cream cheese mixture we made. And this is some of the zesty lemon sauce we made. Since this is an experiment, I'm gonna put this back in the oven at 425 for another 5 minutes. Let's see what happens with that one over there. All right, let me see if I can get Bobby to come in here and taste this and tell me if he thinks it's done. So Bobby came in and tried the one that I'd broken the middle out of. He said they're done. So we're gonna go ahead and fill these holes in, just like before on that one. Cream cheese. and some of this sweet and sour lemon sauce. And then they're gonna go over here on this rack to cool, and I'll show you what we get in a minute with cherries. This is a 10-ounce jar. Let's remove the stems from these cherries. They can go right in there. Let's turn these on to I'll start with medium. Let's make this equal 1 cup. Let's turn this to a medium high, which is about an 8. We're gonna add 1 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt. We're gonna mix that together really good. Let that come to a boil. Okay, we're boiling. We're gonna turn this down to a low, and we're going to let it simmer for about an hour. I did add about a teaspoon of ground cinnamon to this. Honestly, I think it could be sweeter. Let's add more sugar. 1/2 cup of sugar. All right, let's let that keep cooking. We still got 16 minutes left on that. Let it come back to a simmer. Our timer went off. Let's remove this from the heat. Put it over here and let it rest. I want you to see how thick this got. Look at that. It's like candy. Yes. I am actually gonna ask Bobby if he thinks I should just put these on there just like they are. Yum. Instead of putting them in the blender. Let's see what Bobby thinks. We decided not to put this in the blender. Look at this. Yeah. Yes. I was worried about it being too runny. That's awesome. All right, so these have not been previously cooked. And I reduced the temperature to 350 degrees on the oven. And we're gonna do some cherry ones, and we're gonna cook them from scratch, like from raw state. And we're gonna cook them for 12 minutes and see what we got and decide if we need to go just a little bit longer or if that's good. It's so thick. Okay. On we go. These are going in the oven at 350 degrees for 12 minutes. Let's see what happens. I have no idea. 10 minutes, let's look. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, that's gonna be fun to clean. I have an idea. Pull these out. Oh, I made a mess. I want these to be dough or cookie-like, not mushy-like. So, without tearing them up too much, I'm gonna move them over here away from all of that cherry juice. I'm gonna turn the oven up to 375 degrees. All right, that's about the best I can come up with that one. So now we're at 375 degrees. I'm gonna set for 5 minutes, but I'm thinking maybe 10. We'll put it on 10 minutes, but I'm just gonna check it in 5. Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Let's look at these, because I don't wanna burn them or overcook them. And it's hard for you to tell from your angle, but when I move one, it's brown on the bottom. So I'm hoping, put them on these racks over here. Once they cool, they'll crisp up without being overcooked. So that's what we're going with. Let's find out what happens. While still being optimistic that these are gonna firm up and be great, just like those are. Should have done them the same way. All right, live and learn. Let's see what happens when they're done. I'm gonna let them cool. We're gonna put some powdered sugar on top. Some powdered sugar. I can only say they're pastries. Yes, I have king cake boxes because I made king cakes earlier this year. I will put a link in the description on that. There's the lemon ones. They came out really good. Okay, cherry ones. So what happens when you don't follow your own instructions? These I'm gonna label as pastries, and they're getting forks because they're a little bit still, they didn't harden up like I wanted. That's all right, they still taste really good. Hey, follow my instructions the way I did those. and do those like I did those. Anyway, y'all have a blessed night. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon.